So good evening. Please be seated. Thank you. Let's hear it for Jack. Did Jack just step out? Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Essex County Freeholder Board's annual Salute to the Irish, the 2019 edition. I'm very honored today to welcome you to our Salute to the Irish, and as we recognize our dignitaries from the Nutley, West Orange, and Newark St. Patrick's Day parades, and very honored to have all of you here with us today. Let's give our dignitaries a round of applause. This is a ceremony that with my colleague, Freeholder Luciano, we made a commitment both to maintain and continue in the tradition of recognizing the contributions of the Irish to this county, to this state, and to this country. Very proud to say that when Freeholder Luciano and I, who were elected around the same time, actually Freeholder Luciano was anointed. Few months. That one of the first things that we made a commitment to do was to bring, on the Freeholder Board level, this ceremony back, so to speak, and we're very honored and blessed to be able to carry on that tradition. So thank you for allowing us to do that today. With that, I'd like to call Reverend Paul Donahue up from St. Lucy's to lead us in our invocation. Reverend Donahue.
Thank you, President. Mr. President, I think you won't mind if I give a bit of Irish history before the invocation. I just thought you might want to know that on this day back in 1950, Monsignor Patrick Moran was celebrating a wedding. And he got to the point where he says, "Is there anyone here who knows why this couple should not get married?" Well, the back of the church, the last pew, this gorgeous woman stands up, picks up her child, starts walking up the main aisle. By the time she's halfway up the aisle, the church is silent. She keeps on walking, and the bride looks at the groom looks at the bride and shrugs his shoulders. She keeps on walking. Now she's close enough. Monsignor says, "Well, ma'am, do you have something to say?" And she says, "Yes, we can't hear you in the back." Before we salute the Irish, we bow our heads in prayer, seeking God's nod tonight on our efforts to honor those whose service have contributed to the building up of our diverse communities in beautiful Essex County. These honorees have carried out deeds well done, or as the Irish would say, on behalf of God, St. Patrick, and country. May their deeds inspire their children to carry forth the efforts they have made. In each of us exists the magic that can renew our communities rather than divide us. Lord, unlock our potentials. Aaron Gobra. May I have an amen?
At this time, I'm going to ask everyone to please stand for the musical rendition of the Irish National Anthem, A Soldier's Song. I believe we have it recorded and sung by the late John Mooney, I believe, who was, for those of you who didn't know, was a wonderful singer, Newark firefighter, an active member of the Essex County Irish community. So the best, absolutely.
I'll sing you a song, a soldier's song, in cheering, rousing chorus. blazing fires we throng the starry heavens o'er us, impatient for the coming fight. And as we wait the morning's light, here in the silence of the night, we will chant the soldier's song. Soldiers are we, whose lives are pledged to Ireland. Some have come from the land beyond the wave, sworn to be free. No more our ancient sireland shall shelter the despot or the slave. Tonight we man the Barnwell in Erin's cause come well. Its cannons roar and rifles peal. We will chant the soldier's song.
Could have now asked Cicely Williams to lead us in our national anthem.
Thank you. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Okay, thank you. Please be seated. I just also wanted to, before we jump into our program, also acknowledge my Freeholder colleagues who are here, first and foremost, who have joined us for this ceremony. The Vice President of our Freeholder Board, Freeholder Wayne Richardson, who is here. Freeholder Bobby Mercado. Freeholder Rufus Johnson. Newly elected from the great city of Irvington, Freeholder Graham. Longtime supporter of the Irish community and freeholder at large from the great township of Livingston, Freeholder Siebold. With that, I'd like to bring up my co-host this afternoon, Freeholder Len Luciano.
Thank you, Brendan. Good evening to everybody. Let me say that, and I don't mean to echo the same sentiments as my colleague, but let me thank everybody for being here tonight. We were both elected in 2011, and we've served with honor and distinction on this Freeholder Board. A lot of folks don't really know when they hear the term freeholder what we do. Well, the nuts and bolts of it is, we work alongside the county executive, balancing balancing the county budget, taking care of the county roads, parks, and projects and overseeing stuff like the jails and elections. But what really makes me happy, and I think the rest of the board shares this, is that we are able almost every month to celebrate a different heritage. Essex County is a huge melting pot of folks from all over the world. And back in 2011, Brendan and I had spoken about reinstituting the Freeholder Irish American Heritage Celebration, and we've done it ever since, and I've just been proud to be a host. I'm a very lucky guy. I was raised by two parents that were both public school teachers. My father, whose parents were from Italy, and my mother, whose parents were of Irish heritage, and my grandma in particular, County Roscommon, who grew up in the city of Orange with her four sisters, and then went on to live the rest of her life in West Orange. And in the summertime, of course, she was in no other but Spring Lake. If any of you have passed through Spring Lake, you know it's still very Irish. And I was able to be raised not only as a good Catholic, but, half Italian, half Irish. I tell people I'm half Gaelic, half garlic. I can eat and drink at times. I love to have fun. I'm still a single guy, I'm allowed to say that. I had a great time. I know this is post-Nutley Parade. Our Grand Marshal and the dignitaries here, and to the president of the Nutley Irish, Tom, Brendan Gill and I were there pretty much all day. We didn't leave Nutley till 8 p.m. last Saturday. We had a fantastic time. I don't know if that's what you told your wife, but now she knows because it's on public television. We were there with the Nutley Irish, who threw a great event. We had wonderful weather. We hope that weather holds off for this weekend with our West Orange parade, and we encourage everybody at home watching this on TV to come out. That parade steps off at 12:15, and of course our Newark parade, which will be next Friday, March 15th, and the step off for that is 1 o'clock. So that being said, I'm going to segue into bringing up a couple of other representatives that would like to talk to you, partners in our county government. And I'm going to start first by bringing up someone who represents the administration and our county executive, Joseph N. DiVincenzo Jr. Everybody knows Joe D. Joe D. took over in 2002 as county executive. He's done an excellent job. He's been a strong supporter, not just of the Irish American folks here in Essex County, but the diverse county and communities that we have. And if you drive around our county, there's one thing that I will say. Our county is beautiful, our roads and our bridges are the safest, and we have some of the greatest parks and recreational facilities. So on behalf of Joe D., our Chief of Staff, Phil Laja.
Brendan, Lenny's consistent. He talks too much. He says too much. Less quiet. Less said, the better. Lenny, you should have learned your lesson. Reverend Paul, that's the difference between an Italian wedding and an Irish wedding. My wife would have beat the crap out of me before she got 2 steps up the aisle. So, I mean, there's, wow. I was nervous for that story when I heard that, but it ended well. First of all, I believe about 7 or 8 years ago, this holiday became much, much more important to the county executive. His granddaughter Haley was born. A few years later, his grandson Cam was born. Both are 50% Irish. So before that, Joe wasn't as excited about St. Pat. I mean, we loved it, we enjoyed it. But now you see the pictures on Facebook with Haley and Cameron, 2 Irish names, right? We couldn't get one Mario, but we lost that battle. But they're clad in their green. My children enjoy it. They had their shamrocks on the other day. Their school sent it. So on behalf of all the honorees here today, and I want to say congratulations to Carol, because us Immaculate alumni have to stick together. So special congratulations for Immaculate. But on behalf of the county executive and all the honorees today, we all can learn a lot about the Irish, because you do an unbelievable job keeping the traditions and your culture and your memories alive, and every culture should emulate what you do, because there's nothing better to pass on to your children than the roots where they came from. So congratulations.
Thank you, Phil. And our next guest that I'm going to bring up, I actually was sitting next to yesterday when he showed me his phone. For Christmas, someone bought him Ancestry.com, and Chris showed me his phone, and I believe, was it 96% Irish, Chris? So Ancestry.com, Chris Durkin, our county clerk. Everybody please welcome Chris.
And I thought I was half German. I really did. My two grandparents were full German, at least that's what I was told, and didn't come back that way. But I must tell you the story of Fred and Thelma. Fred and Thelma are out at the State Fair out in Sussex County, and they're walking by a helicopter ride. And Fred turns to Thelma and says, "I'd like to go on a helicopter ride." And they look at the sign, and it says $50 for the ride. Thelma says, "Fred, that's expensive. $50 is $50. I don't think we can do it." So they keep walking by, and each year they keep going back to the State Fair, and they're walking by the helicopter ride, and Fred says the same thing. "Thelma, I'd like to go on the helicopter ride." And Thelma says, "Fred, I tell you every year, $50 is $50. I don't think we can do it. It's too expensive." So Fred turns 70 years old, and they're at the State Fair, and they're walking by the helicopter ride, and Fred turns to Thelma and says, "Thelma, I'm 70 years old, not sure how many State Fairs I have left in me. I'd like to go on the helicopter ride." And Thelma says, "Fred, I say it every year. We're not doing it. It's $50, and $50 is $50. So the helicopter pilot hears them and says, "I can work this out. I can help you." So they say, "What is it?" And he said, helicopter pilot says, "I'll let you come up on the helicopter ride for free. It won't cost you a penny. But if either of you says a word, it's going to cost you $50. So they look at each other and say, "We can do that." So they get on the helicopter and they take off. And the helicopter pilot is a daredevil. He's flying as fast as he can, twisting and turning, up there for 20 minutes, trying to get a rise out of him. He lands the helicopter and he can't believe it. Didn't say a word. He turns to Fred and says, "I'm impressed. I tried to do everything I could to get a rise out of you. No one said a word." And Fred looked at the helicopter pilot and said, "You know what? When Thelma fell out of the helicopter, I almost said something. But $50 is $50. I know my friend, Essex County Prosecutor Ted Stevens likes that. I know, where's the prosecutor? I know he was in here. There he is. Yes, sir, Prosecutor Ted Stevens. I will just say this. I want to congratulate Brendan Gill, the Freeholder President, and Wayne Richardson, the Freeholder Vice President, and all the Freeholders for all they do to recognize all the cultures and heritages that make Essex County so special. I also want to congratulate Chairman Mike Byrne and Sean O'Neill, the Grand Marshal, and Kathleen Conlon, the Deputy Grand Marshal, and for honoring the late, great Tom Gartland. I also want to congratulate Tom McHenry, the chairman of the Nutley Parade, and the Grand Marshal Ed Sagers, and Noreen Havron, and Sheila Parisi, who was the parade chair in West Orange, Carol Sharkey Corcoran, the Grand Marshal, Joe Fagan, Carolyn Torsha, and Terry McHugh. And I will close by saying this. I'm confident in saying this, and I'm watching you guys from afar and on YouTube, and how much you're engaged on Facebook. And I would say that this is the best group of Grand Marshals and Deputy Grand Marshals, and I've never said that before, in my memory. They are at a perfect moment in life to lead these parades. That perfect time in life when they have that amazing vision. And I think they would agree that this is the perfect time for them, that they see clearly in the past, have a full understanding of all the sacrifices made by our ancestors who've paved the way for all of us by marching for us. And they have an incredible vision for the future, to march with purpose down Mulberry Street, down Franklin Avenue, and down Main Street, and teaching the next generation of Americans about Irish sacrifice and Irish pride. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rufus Johnson. I'm Essex County Freeholder at Large. I want to tell you something first, though. If you ever do not want your information to get out, don't tell Lenny Luciano. No, but I would like to welcome you all here today because it's a very special day. And I always respect people's heritage and what they believe and how they believe in things. And the world would be a better place if we all respected each other for what we believe and how we believe, regardless of how we decide to take it and worship it or what have you. But my job today is to talk about some of our honorees. On March 2nd, the 41st annual Nutley St. Patrick's Day Parade was held. Will the Nutley Parade contingent join us at the podium to receive your accommodations? My buddy is here too. The president of the Nutley Irish American Association, McInerney. The Grand Marshal, Seegers. The Deputy Grand Marshal, Noreen Haveron. The Member of the Year is Alan McGill. And the Queen of the Parade is Kelly Cole. I'll begin to make the presentations to them, but Freeholder President Gill, would you join me in helping to present them their awards? I think we should start out with the ladies first. So Kelly. Kelly, congratulations on behalf of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders. And Caveron? Noreen? I'm getting like some of the other guys, you know, messing up people's names. You can't do that.
No problem. I've been called Maureen, Colleen, you know, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it's all the same. Thanks a lot.
Congratulations on behalf of the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders.
Thank you very much.
Now we'll get to the gentleman. What about Alan? Richard Kavanaugh? And Ed?
Well, you saved the best for last.
You know it.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you.
One more. And Tom, the Irishman of all Irishmen. Been knowing him a long time. How are you doing?
Look at that face.
Congratulations.
That's it?
I think,
That's it for me. I did that.
yeah, thank you. So, first of all, congratulations to,
Congratulations from Senator Booker. They got certificates.
thank you. In addition to the proclamations that have been prepared by the Essex County Freeholder Board, we also have congratulatory letters from United States Senator Cory Booker, as well as, I think, congratulatory accommodations from our state representatives as well. So before I ask, so first of all, let's give a round of applause to our Nutley honorees. As Freeholder Luciano mentioned, we spent a little time on Saturday, enjoying what turned out to be a research, absolutely, which turned out to be an absolutely, actually tremendous day. It looked right. It looked early in the morning to be like it was going to be some rough weather, and it turned out into one of the nicest days I think we've had, this year. And Irish eyes were definitely smiling on Nutley and all of our honorees this past Saturday. Freeholder Johnson mentioned Tom McHenry, who's been leading the Nutley Irish American Alliance for some time now, for 12 years. I wasn't gonna date you. I had the distinct honor and privilege to be the Grand Marshal of this parade in 2014. and always take the opportunity to thank you, Tom, all of the members of the Nutley Irish American Alliance for that honor, to lead this parade, to be a part of it, and to be a part of that tradition with you. It's a day that I know I won't forget. I know my family will never forget, and I cherish it. So thank you, Tom, and all of the members of the committee for that honor. I'd like each year we also recognize not only our Grand Marshals and Deputy Grand Marshals and honorees, we recognize the chairman of these parades, the people each year who make it all happen, so to speak, and we make sure to give them an award as well, both for them and their committee. This is probably year number 12 and probably year number 7 or 8, so you probably have 7 or 8 of those now on for your wall, but I wanted to give Tom an opportunity to say a few words on behalf of the parade, the Nutley Irish American Alliance, and then we'll hear from our Grand Marshal. So, Tom.
Right now I'm filling in shoes for Deidre Hollywood. She's our parade chairman. I'm the president. She's home pregnant with twins, so I'm taking her place. She worked the parade. She did it all year. And she's also got a 2-year-old. So I'm filling in some big shoes here. I want to thank Deidre, if she's watching, for all the hard work she does. I want to thank President Freeholder Gill for this, and all the freeholders. Chris Durkin, County Executive Joe DiFazendo. It's a great year. Every year we're here. It's a great thing that you do. These are all out marching in the parade. I want to thank the dignitaries. Another good year we had. I've been president 12 years. It's been a good run for me. Essex County is one of the top ones doing this. I don't know about the other counties because I don't pay attention to that. I just pay attention to Essex County, and that's what counts. The board here is one of the best boards in the state that I know. I want to congratulate Newark and West Orange. I hope you have a good day like we do. We had a great day with that snow the night before. People thinking we canceled. You never canceled. We never canceled. I think we did like 13 years ago. We canceled. But I want to wish everybody good luck, and thank you again.
Thank you, Tom. Absolutely, never cancel. I also wanted to give our Grand Marshal an opportunity to speak. His bio is in the program, and I suggest that everyone take a few minutes to take a look. It's quite impressive. Many years of community involvement in Belleville and the greater Essex County at large. It was a pleasure to be with him on Saturday and be with him and his family. I'm sorry I missed the pub tour. I heard that was even better. Just a rumor. But he led, I think, each of your honorees this year with distinction, our Nutley Grand Marshal, Mr. Ed Sagers.
Thank you, Freeholder President McGill. Thank you, County Executive DiVincenzo. Thank you, fellow dignitaries. Thank you, freeholders. It's great to see an old friend, Freeholder Johnson. This is an honor that, and I think I said this last night at the Women of Irish Heritage. This is an honor that that stands alongside the birth of my children and my wedding. It blew me away when you're coming down Franklin Avenue and Grand Marshal of the Nutley Parade. I thank the Nutley Irish American Alliance for having confidence and faith in me to lead the parade. I thank Noreen. She kept pushing me along, got to have a good woman. I have a Karen at home, and I have Karen O'Connor here. She was also a big help to me. My fellow dignitaries, I want to wish West Orange the best of weather on Sunday. Thank you for hosting us last night. We had a great time. I'm in a room with several former Nutley Grand Marshals, Sean, Kevin, Brendan, Tom. It's a pleasure to stand here as the 41st Grand Marshal of the Nutley St. Patrick's Day Parade, Team 41.
Another round of applause for our Nutley Grand Marshal deputies. Wanted to, again, thank each of you for being here, and it's been a pleasure. So thank you. Each year, we have a real treat when we do this ceremony. Since we've started it, we have with us from the DeNoglio School of Irish Dance, I believe, with us, ready to perform. Do we need to clear this? Oh, okay. So we're going to ask that our, our dignitaries to please take their seats and get ready for a great performance from the DeNoglio School of Irish Dance.
Try it. Good evening. How's everybody doing? Good. Did I? No, you wouldn't lie to me, would you? No. Hi, I'm Freeholder Richardson. Good afternoon. I'm Vice President of the Board. Today we have the privilege of making a presentation to the second parade, the granddaddy of them all. I'm proud to say the 84th Annual Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade will take place in the district I represent, which is District 2, and will step off on Friday, March 15th. It's at 1 p.m., correct? 1 p.m. At this time, I invite the Newark Parade contingent to join to join me at the podium so I can present you with your accommodations. Patrick, Parade Chair Michael Byrne, Grand Marshal Sean O'Neill, and Deputy Grand Marshal Kathleen Conlon. President Gill, can I get you up here? All right. And Luciano, please join us. We have accommodations from the Freeholder Board. I think each of you also have, check the name, O'Neill. All right. Accommodations from Senator Booker and State Senator Ruiz, I believe. Oh, Gartman? You'll take that? Okay, excellent. All right. Let me get out your way.
We have to work out the kinks if we're going to take this on the road. Each year, the Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade is dedicated to someone special. This year is no different. This year, the parade is dedicated to the late Thomas James Gartland, who recently passed away. Many of us knew Tom, know his wife and his family, and that all hit us hard over the last year. But his legacy and memory lives on in our hearts. And at this time, I'm going to ask the parade chair, Michael Byrne, to come forward to accept. I already think we have the accommodation on behalf of the Gartland family, and also to say a few words on behalf of the parade. Do we have the accommodation? That's already okay. Thank you. Michael, before I just bring Michael up, just a quick. Michael is also a fellow Montclair resident, a fellow Montclair Mountie, was a neighbor. We're on different sides of the political aisle, so we leave those conversations about politics till late in the evening. But in all seriousness, Michael has done an unbelievable job maintaining and keeping the legacy of the Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade going. The crop of honorees each and every year, both the Grand Marshals, the deputies, and who we choose to honor has been tremendous. And I think all of us who participate and also partake in the Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade don't take for granted the work, Michael, that you do each and every day to keep it going. So thank you for that, Michael Byrne.
Thank you, Mr. President and Freeholders. I don't know if everybody had a chance to see, but the Freeholder President recorded a video yesterday inviting folks to come to this event. It's on Facebook. He didn't quite get as many likes as Bill Scully or Tom Giblin, but he did all right. About 60 or so. Assemblyman Giblin, I spoke to him on the way here. He couldn't be here today. It was a legislative day, but Assemblyman Giblin sends his greetings and hopes to be back with us next year. He's down making his way back from Trenton. We have tremendous honorees this year, as Freeholder President noted. Sean O'Neill, I guess we'll get to talk in a minute, and Kathy Conlon, the director of the Burns Center at Barnabas Health. They've been making us proud ever since they were elected on, I guess it was about January 21st or 22nd. This year, I couldn't believe it, actually. Many of us put ad books together. I myself do not get ad book information to my fellow colleagues on the other two parades when I should, and I think all of us struggle trying to get ad book information sometimes. But this year, it was amazing to me. Both sent their messages for the ad book the day after I called in January. I've never seen that before. It was unbelievable. So I knew it was going to be a good year. No, I did not yell. I was astonished. I could not believe that. So, in any event, just really want to invite everybody to attend the parade this year. It's Friday the 15th. We have a mass at 9:15 in the morning. There will be buses outside the church at St. Patrick's Pro Cathedral to bring everybody from breakfast or from Mass to breakfast, and the breakfast is in the vicinity of where the parade starts. Parade will have reviewing stand ceremonies with dignitaries from Ireland and an exhibition of Irish dancing at 12 o'clock. We'll have the parade itself will start at 1 o'clock, and there'll be a high school band competition within the context of the parade, and we'll award trophies afterward in the vicinity of Kilkenny Ale House. So I certainly hope you can join us all, and looking forward to being back next year and hearing whatever Leonard chooses to reveal to us all in 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Let me say, with the Irish, it's always a rough crowd. But again, it's always a pleasure to do this. And following Michael Byrne is the Grand Marshal of the Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade, and that would be Sean O'Neill. Sean was born and raised in the Ironbound of Newark, attended Newark public schools, including, I believe, Eastside High School. And, yep, that's right, at St. Benedict's and Eastside High School, and currently works as an engineer for Panasonic. He has a great resume. You know, in the essence of time, I ask everyone to take a look in our program and read over his resume. But to bring greetings, our Grand Marshal of the Newark St. Patrick's Day Parade, Sean O'Neill.
Thanks. I first want to thank the Freeholder Board for having us here tonight, County Exec. And I just want to, I don't know where to begin. It's a great honor. I never thought I would see the day here in Newark to be leading the parade in the city I was born and raised in my entire life, and now I work here. So it's a great feeling for me, great honor. In fact, when Michael had called me and told me I was being considered, I says, uh-oh, they must be running out of guys. So, but no, all kidding aside, I was very taken back, but it's a great honor, and looking forward to it. I also want to thank the Nutley parade people. That we had a great time last Saturday. I know myself, Saturday morning, I woke up, said, they're not having this parade, and I reached out to Tom, and it was a great day. I mean, the streets were clear, and I want to wish West Orange the best as well. So it's good, looking forward to it. Come out and support it on the 15th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Grand Marshal, and again, we look forward to next week, and again, one more round of applause for our Newark Parade Committee. Which brings us to our last and final St. Patrick's Day Parade, a parade that I spent many, many years as a young child on the sideline with my mother and my grandmother. And that would be the West Orange St. Patrick's Day Parade, and I will share in this with my Freeholder colleagues, Freeholder Patricia Siebold and Freeholder Bobby Mercado. Please join me up here. The 68th Annual West Orange St. Patrick's Day Parade will be held this Sunday, March 10th, and it will kick off at 12:15. I tell everybody this every year, including my own friends and family. It always seems to land on daylight savings, so that's really 11:15 if you don't set your clocks, so just be prepared. At that, I would like to welcome up my colleague, Freeholder Mercado. Bobby.
Thank you, Lenny. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robert Mercado, and I represent District 1. At this time, I would like to call the West Orange Parade contingent up to the podium to receive your commendations. Let's give them a big round of applause as we welcome Parade Chair Sheila Parisi, Grand Marshal Carol Sharkey Cochran, and the Deputy Marshals, the Deputy Grand Marshals Joseph Fagan, Carolyn Diver Torsha, and Terrence Michael McHugh.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Pat Siebold, and I'm a freeholder at large here in Essex County. We'll begin by presenting the first commendation to Deputy Grand Marshal Joseph Fagan. Unfortunately, Deputy Grand Marshal Carolyn Diver Torsia is unable to be with us today, but let us give her a round of applause in her absence. Next, we have Deputy Grand Marshal Terrence Michael McHugh. Congratulations, Terrence. Freeholder Luciano.
Thank you, Freeholder Siebold. And I will do the honors of turning over the mic to our West Orange Parade Chair, Mrs. Sheila Parisi.
Sorry, everyone keeps touching the mic. Okay, so I would like to thank Freeholder President Gill and the rest of the Freeholder Board for inviting us tonight and hosting, as well as Essex County Clerk Chris Durkin and Assemblyman Tom Giblin. Congratulations to Newark and to Nutley, I mixed that up, for your great parade, Nutley. Weather was great. I hope we're as fortunate this weekend, Newark, and we're looking forward to the Newark Parade. Each year we continue to honor our Irish roots by recognizing outstanding honorees of the community. This year, West Orange has 4 well-deserving honorees: our Grand Marshal, Carol Sharkey Corcoran, who has been a longtime parade committee person, and our deputies, Carolyn Diver, Torsia, Joe Fagan, and Terry McHugh. So I would like to invite everyone Sunday to our parade, March 10th. As it was mentioned earlier, we step off at 12:15, and we're looking forward to a great day. So come out and enjoy the day. Thank you. Sorry. I'm not quite finished yet. Sorry, I really have to give a shout out to a high school buddy of mine, Miss Siebold, English teacher. Thank you.
I was at West Orange High School when she was there.
Okay, thank you.
That's right. Freeholder Siebold has some West Orange in her. She spent most of her career at West Orange High School. And even though a big portion of it, even though she lives in Livingston, she also hails from West Orange. So thank you, Sheila. And moving along to our Grand Marshal, Carol Sharkey Corcoran. I just want to let you know, Grand Marshal, that the Board of Chosen Freeholders has presented you with a commendation which names Main Street Corcoran, I believe, Boulevard after you. We look forward to it. A little bit about your resume. We know that you were born and raised in West Orange, and you have parents that both immigrated from a small parish in Ireland in County Roscommon. You attended the Lady of Lourdes and Immaculate Conception High School, along with Bloomfield College, right here in Essex County. And we know that you hold your Irish heritage near and dear to your heart. Do you live in, I believe, where do you live now? I live in Roseland. I was going to say, before I say it, she lives in the borough of Roseland, which is in Essex County District 4. And so she's one of my constituents. I had to make sure, as the District 4 freeholder, I give plugs to my constituents. But that being said, let us welcome our parade Grand Marshal.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to President Brendan Gill, Lenny Luciano, and Essex County Executive Joe DiVincenzo. It is such an honor, and the rest of the freeholders, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here and be recognized along with the Nutley and the Newark contingents. Essex County is a county that is so rich in history with so many diverse backgrounds, and including the Irish. My parents emigrated, as Mr. Luciano said, from a small village in County Roscommon called Taboan. They came here on the boat, and they built a life built on strong Catholic values, family, and our tradition. I was so fortunate to grow up in a family filled with love, my faith, and great Irish and West Orangites. being a part of this parade committee is so special to me. I have been on the committee since I was about 16 years old, so I look pretty good for being on it for 10 years. Thank you. So, but in all seriousness, I was so happy to see that Nutley's parade went off, because waking up that morning, it was truly something to see all that snow. And being on a committee, you know how hard it is to put the work into it. So we were so happy to be there and share that day with you, and we're hoping for the same for Newark as well. And congratulations to Sean O'Neill and Kathleen Conlon. But this day has been so special to me. One reason, or two reasons I should say, is my mom was the first Grand Marshal of a St. Patrick's Day parade in the tri-state area back in 1979. Then my father, Alfie, also was Grand Marshal in 1979. And now 20 years later, I stand here to follow in their footsteps on Sunday. So it's really something that's so special to me and into my heart. My parents and I actually have a lot of history in these buildings here. My first job here was in the Essex County Sheriff's Department. And my dad worked for under Chris Durkin and Board of Elections for the last 20 years, coming in and helping with the elections. And my mom was in the county clerk's office under Pat Drake. So being back here and being under this roof is something that's really something remarkable to me. And I just want to say thank you so much. And to my amazing honorees, Joe, Terry, and Carolyn, who's not here today. It has been a phenomenal experience, and I want to thank my dear friend Sheila Parisi and the entire parade committee. So thank you once again, and we hope to see you on Sunday, March 10th. Thank you.
All right, one last round of applause. Our West Orange Parade Committee and Grand Marshal. Thank you, folks. To my freeholder colleagues, you guys could sit. Sure. Let me just wrap things up here and close out by just mentioning a few things. First and foremost, congratulations to the parade chairs, committees, and grand marshals and deputy grand marshals and dignitaries. We wish you well in your parade. We know that you already had your parade, but it was fantastic. To my colleague, friend, surrogate brother, Brendan Gill, thank you so much for allowing me to partner with you in this honor and this ceremony every year. And to our freeholder staff, our clerk, Deborah Davis Ford, our deputy clerk, Deborah Marvel, and all the staff that puts this together. A special shout out in the back to Karen Golding, who also works for Freeholder Gill and the Freeholders, who's very proud of her Irish heritage and who also played a part in putting this together. So this being said, I'm going to bring up Reverend Donahue to give us a little bit of a prayer. I'm going to ask that everyone that's a dignitary hang on in this room as we're going to take some pictures, professional pictures, that we're going to send out to some of the local newspapers, and we'll get to you guys. And we also want to invite you to a reception right down the hall, corned beef, cabbage, carrots, potatoes, Irish soda bread, and that was provided by Michael's Ross Common, and we really appreciate Frank, the owner, for doing it. So again, Reverend Donahue.
Mr. President, may it please the freeholders to know that Paddy O'Collins was traveling on the Northeast Corridor. He's a distant relative of the big man, Michael Collins, you know. And night came, the porter came, and he changed the bench seat into bunk beds. And the woman that was there said, well, I'll take the top bunk. And Pat says, okay. And they're very respectful to one another. And so they go to the restroom, they get into their night clothes and put on their robe, come back, and they get into their bunk bed, turn out the lights. About 15 minutes later, the woman says, I'm cold. Could you get me a blanket? And Patty says, well, let's try this. He says, how about if we pretend we're husband and wife? The woman giggles and says, well, all right. And then Patty says, get your own blanket. Let us bow our heads. In you, Lord, our God, all things have their beginning, continuation, and end. Grace us with your saving presence. Aid us with your constant help, and let us glorify you through the tasks that employ our time. Like you, Lord, who came to serve, grant that through our tasks we may love our brothers and our sisters and help them in their need. Where charity and love are found, there is God. May God, who brought us together, walk with us as we leave. May the God of every grace and blessing grant you joy and peace. May you rejoice in God's protection now and forevermore. May I have an amen.